Paul Pearson was an innocent child whose life was cut short by an individual with a history of violent behaviour. This video will explore the life and crimes of Richard Blenkey, the circumstances surrounding the murder of Paul Pearson, and the broader implications for community safety and child protection. By analysing the details of this case, we can better understand the systematic failures that allowed such a tragedy to occur and advocate for meaningful changes that prioritise the safety and well-being of children. Richard Blenkey was born into a troubled family environment marked by dysfunction and instability. His early years were characterised by parental neglect, with a father who struggled with addiction and a mother who was often absent. Growing up in a neighbourhood plagued by crime, Blenkey was exposed to violence at a young age, which shaped his worldview and influenced his behaviour. Blenkey's criminal record began to accumulate during his teenage years. He was involved in petty theft and vandalism, gradually escalating to more serious offences, including assaults. Each encounter with law enforcement seemed to reinforce his belief that he could evade consequences, leading to increasingly reckless behaviour. His criminal history was marked by a series of arrests, but he often received light sentences or rehabilitation attempts that failed to address the root causes of his behaviour. As a child, Blenkey exhibited signs of behavioural issues, including aggravation and defiance. He was often in trouble at school, facing suspensions and disciplinary actions. These early experiences contributed to feelings of alienation and resentment, which would later manifest in his criminal activities. By the time Blenkey was in his 20s, he had accrued multiple charges, including burglary and drug-related offences. His repeated run-ins with the law painted a picture of a man who was not only a danger to himself, but also to the community around him. Blenkey's mental health issues played a significant role in his criminal trajectory. He was diagnosed with various psychological disorders, including antisocial personality disorder and intermittent explosive disorder. These conditions manifested in a lack of empathy and remorse for his actions, making it difficult for him to conform to normal social behaviour. His psychological profile indicated a pattern of impulsive behaviour, often leading to violent outbursts. Coupled with a history of substance abuse, Blenkey's mental health struggles contributed to his inability to control his impulses, ultimately culminating in the tragic events surrounding Paul Pearson's murder. Paul Pearson was born into a loving family that prioritised education and emotional support. His parents, dedicated to providing a nurturing environment, instilled in him a sense of curiosity about the world. They encouraged his interests and invested time in his development, ensuring that he felt secure and valued. Paul's home was a place of laughter, warmth and stability, serving as a stark contrast to Blenkey's upbringing. Paul was known for his infectious laughter and adventurous spirits. He had a passion for sports, particularly football, and spent countless hours playing with his friends in the local park. His energy and enthusiasm were contagious, making him a beloved figure among his peers. Paul's innocence and charm endeared him to everyone he met, and he was often described as a bright light in the community. Beyond sports, Paul was also curious about nature and loved exploring the outdoors. He would often collect rocks, leaves and small creatures, bringing them home to show his parents. His inquisitive nature and genuine kindness made him a cherished child, full of potential and promise. The community regarded Paul as a typical well-adjusted child. He was often seen riding his bike, playing games and participating in school events. His interactions with neighbours were marked by kindness and enthusiasm, and he had established friendships that brought joy to his life. The local residents appreciated his cheerful demeanour, and his absence left a significant void in the community when the tragedy struck. Paul was also involved in local community programmes, attending after-school clubs and participating in neighbourhood activities. His presence enriched the lives of those around him, and his loss was felt deeply by friends, teachers and neighbours alike. On the day of the tragedy, Paul Pearson was playing outside, unaware of the lurking danger posed by Richard Blenkey. The neighbourhood was familiar to him, a safe haven where he felt comfortable exploring and playing with his friends. Blenkey, recently released from prison, was in the area and his intentions were sinister. He saw an opportunity to exploit Paul's innocence, preying on a child who trusted the. The crime occurred on a sunny day. Blenkey was driving in the area. Accounts later revealed that when he spotted Paul, he quickly decided to act on his urges. Using a simple lure, he offered the boy sweets and a short trip in his vehicle. In an era before the concept of stranger danger was widely taught, such promises from an adult could seem harmless to a child. Paul, unable to see the threat, accepted. It was the last safe moment of his young life. Blenkey drove him to a secluded allotment far from the eyes of anyone who might intervene. There, Paul was brutalised before being strangled to death. Blenkey's decision to murder him appears to have been aimed at silencing the child, so he could never tell anyone what had happened to him. Once the killing was done, Blenkey buried Paul's body in a shallow grave in a nearby woodland, trying to hide all traces of the crime. This deliberate act of concealment allowed him to return to his everyday life as if nothing had occurred. Witnesses reported seeing Blenkey and Paul interacting before the situation turned deadly. Despite being a busy neighbourhood, the crime happened without immediate intervention, illustrating how quickly danger can arise in familiar environments. The brutality of the act shocked the community, and the news of Paul's murder spread rapidly. Following the discovery of Paul's body, the community was thrown into turmoil. Local residents banded together in grief, holding vigils and memorials to honour his memory. The media coverage was extensive, painting a vivid picture of a community grappling with the loss of an innocent child. News reports highlighted the shock and sorrow felt by friends, family and neighbours, emphasising the need for justice.
The area alongside some allotments where Paul was pulled from his BMX bike and killed is still sealed off. Detectives searching the scene were removing more potential evidence this morning to be taken away for forensic examination. Their plainclothes colleagues were making door-to-door inquiries at a caravan park nearby, trying to build on reported sightings of a man in his mid-30s said to have been hanging around children in the area yesterday. A mobile police incident room has been brought in, with local people and holidaymakers invited to come and report anything suspicious. The street where Paul lived was deserted this morning. Marske by the Sea turned into another British town where children no longer dare play outside. Holidaying parents wouldn't let young families out of their sight. It's doubtful how long some of them will stay.
Everybody's very nervous. A lot of people I've been talking to said that they're even thinking of going home. We're all right because there's like 4 caravans of us and we're all together and we're all keeping an eye on all the kids together.
The fact this is a holiday area greatly complicates the police task. Not only must they search the local community for the killer, they must also hunt dozens of hotels and caravan parks in case the man they want is part of the transient holiday population. James Mates, ITN, Cleveland.
In the wake of the tragedy, parents became increasingly concerned about their children's safety. The community held meetings to discuss preventative measures and ways to support one another during this difficult time. The emotional impact of Paul's murder resonated deeply as families reflected on their own vulnerabilities and the importance of vigilance in protecting children. The local police launched an intensive investigation, mobilising resources to find Paul's killer. Initial leads were scarce, but community cooperation proved vital. Officers canvassed the neighbourhood, interviewing residents and gathering any available evidence. Forensic teams collected samples and analysed the crime scene, looking for clues that could lead to the perpetrator.
Another police press conference to give details of another brutal murder of a young child. The words have become familiar this week, but are no less tragic. The death of little Paul Pearson, adding to one of the blackest weeks the police can remember.
There does not appear to be, at this time, anything to link a sexual assault with this murder.
The investigation faced challenges, including the absence of eyewitnesses and the need to establish a timeline of events. However, the community rallied behind law enforcement, providing tips and information that ultimately proved crucial in identifying Richard Blenkey as a suspect. After a thorough investigation, Richard Blenkey was identified as a suspect based on forensic evidence and witness statements. His capture was met with a mix of relief and anger within the community. As more details about his criminal past surfaced, public outrage grew, demanding justice for Paul. Blenkey's arrest highlighted the community's desire for accountability and the need to prevent similar tragedies from occurring in the future. During his arrest, Blenkey exhibited signs of agitation and defiance, further raising concerns about his mental state. As news of his capture spread, community members expressed a mix of hope for justice and fear of what his presence represented. The trial of Richard Blenkey became a focal point for discussions about child safety and justice. Prosecutors presented a strong case, highlighting the disturbing nature of the crime and Blenkey's history. The trial drew significant media attention, with reporters covering every aspect from jury selection to closing arguments. The courtroom was filled with Paul's family and community members who wanted to witness the proceedings firsthand. Emotions ran high as they sought answers and accountability for the loss of a beloved child. During the trial, several key witnesses testified, including family members, community members, and forensic experts. The evidence presented was compelling, painting a clear picture of the events leading up to Paul's murder. Forensic evidence, such as DNA samples and eyewitness accounts, played a crucial role in establishing Blenkey's guilt. Emotional testimonies from Paul's family highlighted the deep impact of their loss. They described Paul's vibrant personality and the void left in their lives. The courtroom was often filled with tears as the pain of losing Paul was palpable. The jury ultimately found Blenkey guilty of murder, resulting in a lengthy prison sentence. The verdict was met with mixed emotions. While the community found some solace in the outcome, the loss of Paul would forever leave a void. The sentencing phase included statements from the victim's family, emphasising the need for justice and the importance of protecting children from individuals like Blenkey. As Blenkey was led away, community members expressed a sense of relief, though the shadow of grief remained. The trial served as a reminder of the fragility of childhood and the importance of systematic changes to prevent future tragedies. In the wake of the tragedy, the community took proactive steps to enhance child safety. Neighbourhood watch programmes were established, encouraging residents to be vigilant and report suspicious activity. Local schools held assemblies to educate children about safety and the importance of trusting their instincts when approached by strangers. Authorities also increased police presence in areas frequented by children, ensuring that families felt safe in their neighbourhoods. The community came together to create a safer environment, advocating for policies that prioritised children's protection. Support groups emerged for parents grappling with similar fears, creating a space for dialogue about child safety and the emotional toll of losing a child. This collective response highlighted the importance of community in times of tragedy, as residents sought to honour Paul's memory by fostering a safer environment. The murder of Paul sparked nationwide conversations about child protection policies and the need for reforms within the criminal justice system. Advocates called for better mental health support, stricter monitoring of offenders, and comprehensive child safety programmes. The tragedy served as a wake-up call, prompting discussions about how society can better protect its most vulnerable members. Legislators began to examine existing laws and consider changes aimed at preventing similar incidents. The case highlighted the need for collaboration between law enforcement, mental health professionals, and community organisations to create a holistic approach to child safety. The case highlights the systematic failures in protecting vulnerable children, a lack of resources for mental health treatment, and insufficient monitoring of offenders contributed to the tragic outcome. The community's response to the tragedy revealed a collective desire to address these issues and seek justice for Paul. The Failure to adequately address Richard Blenkey's mental health struggles before the murder raises critical questions about the responsibilities of the criminal justice system in preventing individuals with violent histories from harming others. The need for comprehensive reforms become evident as the community sought to prevent similar incidents in the future. The case also emphasises the critical role of mental health services in preventing violent crimes. Providing adequate support and intervention for individuals like Blenkey could potentially mitigate risks and protect innocent lives. The tragedy serves as a reminder of the importance of early intervention and accessible mental health resources for those in need. Advocates for mental health reform argue that addressing underlying issues is essential in preventing future tragedies. By investing in mental health services, communities can work towards creating a safer environment for children and families. The legacy of Paul serves as a call to action for communities to be vigilant in safeguarding children. Increased awareness, education, and active engagement in local safety initiatives are essential steps toward preventing future tragedies. Community members must remain informed about potential dangers and work together to create a supportive environment. Parents, educators, and local leaders should collaborate to develop programs that promote child safety and awareness. By fostering open communication and encouraging children to speak up about their feelings and experiences, communities can empower young people to navigate the world safely. The story of Richard Blenkey and the murder of Paul Pearson is a poignant reminder of the fragility of childhood and the responsibilities of society to protect its most vulnerable members. As communities reflect on this tragedy, it is crucial to engage in ongoing dialogues about child safety, mental health, and the need for systematic change within the criminal justice system. Paul Pearson's legacy should inspire action and commitment to ensure that no child suffers a similar fate. The lessons learned from this case underscore the importance of vigilance, compassion, and community support in creating a safer world for children. Thank you for listening today, and remember, stay behind the yellow tape.